Have you ever been more afraid of walking alone at night in your own neighborhood than facing a giant monster in a video game? Although it may seem like a silly comparison, you are actually functioning exactly as a human should. Today we're going to talk about the kind of terror that doesn't need ghosts with mouths on their stomachs or 3-meter-tall mutants. Everyday terror. The kind that smells like empty hallways, night shifts, and "I think someone is watching me." Because yes, there are games from a Japanese studio, to give one example, that specialize in putting you to work in the early hours of the morning, which from the outside seem to say, what if the real horror was having a job? But even if it sounds like a joke, what they're exploiting is something much deeper and much more psychological than a simple scare. Your brain has a kind of filter that separates fantasy from what could happen to you tomorrow. A zombie breaking through a window goes into the movie folder, but on the other hand, a stranger staring at you on the bus goes into the real potential danger folder. And when something falls into that second folder, your body doesn't react with entertainment, it reacts with genuine anxiety. That's why proposals like Get Out work so well. In the movie, the protagonist is not pursued by monsters or ghosts, but by a racist family that seeks to take over his body. But outside of the fantasy of body swapping, hypnosis, and all that, it leaves you wondering if you can really trust your partner or their family. Of course, this is just one example.
I was acting. Or was I?
One of the pillars of this type of fear is the breakdown of normality. Routine is one of the brain's greatest calming agents. You know how your home, your job, your street works. Everything is predictable. Everyday terror takes that predictability and throws in a small error, something out of place, a door you could swear you closed, a customer who stays too long, a neighbor who knows your name without you ever having spoken to them. These details are disturbing in audiovisual media because they could easily happen to you tomorrow. Another strong point is vulnerability. In many traditional horror games, you are a soldier, a police officer, someone with resources. In everyday horror, you are just you. You work, you are tired, you have no powers, you carry no weapons, and on top of that, you probably live alone. That eliminates the fantasy of control. And when human beings feel vulnerable, fear multiplies. Something very powerful also comes into play: social fear. Not of creatures, but of people. Of the unpredictability of human behavior. Of that uncomfortable moment when someone invades your personal space. The social brain is designed to detect strange intentions, lingering glances, awkward silences. This terror turns those microsignals into a constant threat. The setting also plays a huge role. Everyday spaces like supermarkets, train stations, small apartments, streets with streetlights. Places designed to be functional, not epic. That makes your brain have no aesthetic distance. You're not in a haunted castle. You're in a place where you yourself have been half asleep on any given Tuesday. And then there's the silence. Everyday terror loves uncomfortable silence. No piano music to make you tense and tell you when to be scared. Just the hum of fluorescent lights, the distant sound of footsteps, the wind sneaking in through a poorly closed window. That sonic void leaves room for your mind to project dangers. And the human imagination is a personalized horror factory. Instead of giving you a scare, these types of situations give you the anticipation of the scare. And neurologically, prolonged anticipation can be more stressful than the event itself. Let's look at an example that we've all experienced as children. It's like waiting for a shot. The process before the shot hurts much more than the shot itself. There is another key factor: ambiguity. Often, you don't know if what is happening is really dangerous, or if it is your perception altered by fatigue, loneliness, or stress. A tired brain does not process the information it receives well, which is why you have probably seen clothes hanging that looked very human before going to sleep. They are fears of adult life, of public transportation, of night shifts, of walking home alone, looking over your shoulder, or at your reflection in the windows to make sure no one is following you. That's why it's so powerful. It doesn't turn off when the screen turns off. You go out on the street and, for a moment, you look twice. You hear footsteps and turn around. That residual effect is proof that everyday terror didn't just scare you. It temporarily reconfigured your perception. Deep down, this kind of horror appeals to us because it validates something we already feel. The real world is sometimes weird, uncomfortable, and unpredictable. We don't need ghosts to feel insecure. We need silence, solitude, and someone else acting a little out of the ordinary. So no, it's not fear of work. Well, yes, a little, but that's not the point. It's the fear of being vulnerable in a world where the strange doesn't always have background music to warn you that danger is coming. And that, even if it doesn't have tentacles or giant teeth, is one of the most honest fears we can feel.